Yeah. Give us, you give us. This is Zambia, the home of copper.
Edition of Blunt Talk. Earlier on, the clip you watched was that of leader of opposition in parliament, that is Mr. Brian Mundubile, who had appeared on another show right here on Movie TV earlier on and given his sentiments of the current political atmosphere here in Zambia. He gave a number of points, one of them being that the president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has been talking about corruption too much that it is now beginning to irritate the people. And these were his sentiments, in addition to a number and other sentiments that he had spoken about. Now, today our topic is current state of political atmosphere. To get down into the thick of things, in the studios, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, who is a Democratic Party member, as well as Mr. Stanley Manama, who is the Secretary General for RPP, that is the Republican Progressive Party. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Madam Virginia, and good evening to our listeners.
Definitely. Once again, to our viewers, you can come through on our Facebook page, that is Ask Movie TV, where we are streaming this particular program live, and you can send us your questions, your comments, and your contributions, and we'll be sure and set to respond to them right here in the studios. Gentlemen, to get down into the thick of things, I think I'll start with you, Mr. Malama. Of course, the clip we watched was just a basis on the many topics, on the many issues that we're going to discuss. But I would like to get your general views, being the opposition, of how the current atmosphere is for you in your operations.
Thank you very much. To be honest with you, Virginia, the current political situation in Zambia is quite calm. It's very good. It's very encouraging. This is what Zambian people wanted, and this is the change that Zambian people voted for. So, to be honest, we should thank President Hakainde Hichilema for creating this enabling environment for all the Zambians, including foreigners, to enjoy the freedom that they're enjoying today. Before UPNDR's government came in, we had quite a good number of challenges in this country. And among them, people were never free. Walk around, people never were any other party regard apart from PF. People were not free in markets, bus stations. But today, Zambia has gone back to normal. The way Zambia is today, it is how it was the time we got independence. The only political party that messed up our country is PF. So the freedom we are enjoying today is not actually new in the eyes of the Zambian people. It has been there before. It's just that we elected a brutal regime, and we cannot blame ourselves for that because we didn't know. I'm one of the people who supported PF at some point, but later I discovered that this is a brutal regime. So to be honest with you, my dear, Zambia is enjoying the peace that we really wanted. This is the Zambia we needed. And I'm glad to inform you that this peace you see today, it will continue until the end of our first term going to the second term. And I'm sure after the second term of President Hakainde Hichilema, the other presidents that will follow, they will keep this peace that we are enjoying. So it's very cardinal that we stick to this party called UPND.
Okay, even before we go further, I think let me come to you, Mr. Simukoko. You're also from the opposition, the Democratic Party. Your views on the current atmosphere politically?
Politically, the current environment isn't pleasant to us as opposition leaders. We are looking at it in the angle where we have got a lot of people who are starving as a result of the cost of living in their homes. Apart from that, Madam Virginia, we need to understand to say the government that we voted in, it was voted in on the basis that it needs to reduce the cost of living. It also needs to reduce the prices of commodities, but that is quite a strange and different thing. Apart from that, also, we need to realize to say when we voted in the UPND, it was voted in not because the people of Zambia were not seeing the infrastructure development which were undertaken previously. Apart from that, we also need to realize to say this government was voted in order for them to begin reducing the prices of fertilizer, the prices of mealie meal, the prices of cooking oil, the prices of fuel and other things. Now, according to the UPND government, that's the main reason why fuel has increased. They are saying that it is the war which is between Russia and Ukraine. However, we need to know to say the first increment on fuel was made.
Simukoko, maybe just to, before we rush, we get ahead of ourselves. Maybe let me draw you back to the question. As a political party, the Democratic Party, how are your operations now?
So now our operations are very much difficult under the current environment, because those issues that I'm raising to you, Madam Virginia, they are the same issues that are affecting our members in our political party. Today, our members in a political party, Madam Virginia, it is so sad, including the people of Zambia, that they are buying a bag of mealie meal at an expensive price. It is so sad that almost on a daily basis, we are receiving calls, we are receiving a lot of information from different people in society, because we need to know to say, when we are in political parties, there are a lot of people who come through who need assistance in one way or another, because we are an organization. So these issues that I'm trying to address here, they are the same issues which are being affected by those people who are also in opposition, as well as the people who are living in Zambia. Because at this particular moment, Madam Virginia, every person, be it you are in this political party or any other political party, we are buying the bag of mealie meal at the same price. We are buying cooking oil at the same price, which is increased.
Maybe let me put it this way. As a party, are you free to meet your members when you would want to meet them? Are you free?
We have been free from inception. We have been free from inception. Since the political party was made and formed, we have been meeting our members on the ground. We have been doing all that. So that is a normal thing which is supposed to be happening. And we have been doing that even now, even tomorrow. We are going to continue to do that, irrespective of a political party which is going to be in power. We need to know to say we had to participate in the previous elections. And we participated, yes. And after participating, we were meeting our members. We are able to make sure that we meet our members on the ground. We do what we can do. We communicate with them about our manifesto, and we proceed with that. That has been the way political parties have been run since the time of Kaunda, since the time we got independence, and that is why, even up to now, different political parties, they are able to mobilize just like the way they were managing previously. That is the way I'm going to answer that question. So, regarding the political party affairs being run, of course, we need to know to say, we are at a point where we are very much happy again, because we are receiving a lot of defectors from almost all the political parties, including the same UPND, because according to them, they are saying, look, we are promised a lot of things as the people of Zambia. But unfortunately, nothing of the things which we are promised has been fulfilled. And that is why today, Madam Virginia, we are receiving a lot of members who are defecting from the UPND, joining the party. Apart from that, we are receiving a lot of members, also a lot of Zambians joining the party, because they know to say the manifesto that we are able to represent and of course present to them, it is the manifesto which has got the solution for the nation, and it is the manifesto which is able to solve every problem and every challenge which Zambia has been facing as of late.
Okay. Now let's move on down into something that really has been on the minds of many Zambians and really has been a topical issue: the cost of living. I'm aware that even on Monday, 25th of April, the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, had spoken about this during his press briefing or his address to the media at State House. But then let me start with you, maybe Mr. Simukoko. Your views on the current cost of living in Zambia.
My views are that the cost of living has increased to this point since independence. The people of Zambia have never seen such an increment from the time we got independence. And that is why when you look at almost even the promises that were made previously, Madam Virginia, none of the promises has been fulfilled when it comes to the cost of living and the ability to reduce the prices of commodities that are bought on a daily basis. We need to know to say, since the president took over power, there has been no any good, no any commodity or service which has reduced in price. The fuel which they can say it reduced by 2 kwacha, that hasn't reduced below what the president found it. Apart from that, according to the lame excuse that has been given, they are saying to say it is because of the war which is happening in Russia, as well as between Russia and Ukraine. However, we need to know to say, even the member of the UPND, Mr. Cornelius Mwetu, addressed the nation to say, we have increased the prices of fuel up to this point because it is one of the IMF, International Monetary Fund conditionality, meaning the increment that was made, it is not because of the issue of Russia or Ukraine. It is because the first increment, which was made on fuel, petrol and diesel, was made before the war even started. Apart from that, Madam Virginia, the government is able to boast about free education according to them. But for the people who have done economics and the people who have understood economics, they need to know to say we have got what we call zero-sum game. We need to know to say that this free education that they are calling free education, it is non-existent because one, we need to know to say the people in their budget which they make almost every month in their homes, the budget has increased. Apart from that increment, we need to know to say a parent to move from home to go to town and come back, they are spending more money than they were spending. And indeed, such increments in Zambia have never been seen before. Apart from that, we need to know to say this government again, through the Minister of Finance, released a report to say the IMF has agreed that we can be able to recruit the teachers and health personnel. It means if the IMF disagreed or was against, it means the recruitment wouldn't have happened. And it has not even happened because according to them, they are waiting for the IMF to release the money. After they release the money, that's when the recruitment or the people who have applied are going to be called for interviews. Now, that is not how a country is supposed to be run, Madam Virginia. We need to know to say when you are running a country, we need to have our own policies as the government, as a country. And also, when you do so, we are not going to be handing over our brains to the IMF. We are not going to be handing over our thinking to the IMF to think on our behalf and what we need to achieve as a nation. IMF is just a business entity, just like any other bank. So as such, relying on IMF or depending on IMF, it is not going to be a solution for Zambia because in Zambia currently, or different world or the globe in itself, there has been no any single country, Madam Virginia, which has developed as a result of IMF or depending on IMF. So almost everything that we are seeing in this country, we need to know to say there has been no any achievement from the government when it comes to the cost of living, including the things they criticize, saying no, the prices that they are spending on constructing the roads. They were saying that they are enormous, they are beyond what they are supposed to be, what is supposed to be paid. But today, they are spending more money than the previous government spent on constructing a road, of which it is not supposed to be like that.
Okay, maybe let me come to you, Mr. Malama. I see you're quite eager to come in. Mr. Simukoko had spoken about the fact that the cost of living is too high, it's exaggerated. I don't know how you would respond to that as a RPP, a party that is in an alliance with the United Party for National Development.
Thank you very much. Virginia, when you are walking down the streets, you meet a person who is over 22, and this person is begging. You ask them, why are you begging? They tell you, I'm an orphan. Just so that person, kamukadi bulila. Out of 5 senses, kamukadi pona. Because a person has to reach a certain stage where if you are being an orphan, it should come to an end. You should take responsibility. The DP guys, this is a group of prodigal sons from the PF. These guys are still crying. Okay? Are still crying. They have no strategy at all. They are complaining about the high cost of living. They are complaining about high fuel price, and all the things that he has mentioned here. You know why? These guys have no strategy. They're ever complaining. Even the time of elections in August, instead of concentrating to campaign, they were busy complaining. What did they get? Zeros. Now let me remind my brother here. This time, the fact that we have provided an enabling environment for all political parties to sell their manifesto well, it is the time for them to go down the streets and provide quality leadership that we are failing to provide. That's how a political party is supposed to run. What we are failing to do, they are supposed to do it because they are citizens of this country. If they talk about the high cost of living, what is DP doing about the high cost of living? At a party level, not at a national level because it's not their responsibility. At a party level, what measures have they put in place that when they come in power, it's those measures that they are going to capitalize on and change the status quo of the entire nation? The answer is they are blank. Their debate is talking about the high cost of living. Ever since independence in 1964, tell me the government that was there, that provided food in every household. There will be no such a government. Today, if you go to America, you go to China, you go to Europe, where there is good, what we can call economy, you still find people begging in the streets. In every society, you are going to find people like the members of the DP and the opposition who are ever complaining. There's no government that is going to buy a bag of milk and bring in your house. In fact, Virginia, what you should do is, next time when you invite me, don't call me here. I start debating with people whom I would describe as complainants. What you're supposed to do here is to discuss the CDF. We've got so many cooperatives that has been formed by the youths. My job is to explain and advise the youths how they're supposed to spend that money once they are given in their respective cooperatives. Because some of the youths, they've never done business before. Most of the youths, they've never seen not even a 10,000 kwacha in their lives. But once they are given that money, what are they going to do with it? They need this information. So you media houses, can you please provide this platform for us to explain on how this CDF fund, once they receive it, how they should utilize it? I am an entrepreneur. And when I give an advice, it is coming from the informed point of view. So the best thing to do in this debate is how will this money that will go towards the cooperative that the youths have formed going to help them? Because this is the same money that is going to end the poverty that the DP is complaining about. So, ba DP bena baba bakwati kamwana kanono. Because umwana omonono munganda ba ushinga balefu mukia mukubomba alelira sweet. Instead, a baby at dad buy, go and work. When you come back, bring me sweet. Or bring me a bag of meal. That's DP for you. That's the kind of opposition we have in this country. They want HH to turn the economy like it's Jesus. Even Jesus himself said, I'm going to my Father, and very soon I'm coming.
Maybe let me ask you this way. Let me ask you this way. Mr. Simukoko had spoken about, he had mentioned that some of the promises, or maybe most of the promises that were made by the UPND have not been fulfilled. That is according to him. So maybe, even according to the cost of living, they are disappointed about that.
Is 5 years. The mandate the Zambian people gave us is 5 years.
Surely, in terms of the cost of living, if they are told this is what to be there on the cost of living and that is not fulfilled, surely they are justified in coming out the way they are.
If you are failing to buy a bag of minimum during the PF lane, even now you still fail to buy. Because you will not buy a bag of minimum and bring in your house. Never. When the president was opening parliament last time, he mentioned Zambians should be hardworking people. If you're just lazing around, waiting for a miracle to enter your house, forget. When you become lazy, like the team of the DP, poverty will be part of your life. When you become a serious person, hardworking, you are kicking poverty. Let's be clear here. In as much as we have a new government in place, it is not our responsibility as a government to enter your mind and tell you, can you go and do some work there? It is not our job to disfigure the structure of your brain so that you can start thinking in a particular way. No. When you see there's poverty in your house, it is time for you to come out of your house and come up with something to do. We are only 8 months in government, and we did not promise any person that within 8 months there will be meal in the house distributed by the government. We never promised that. And that promise will never come, even in the remaining months. So what I'm simply saying is, we shouldn't allow people who are lazy to come on the media and complain. Some people, even if we get the whole 25.7 million kwacha meant for the CDF, we give an individual or we give a single political party, they will still do nothing with it. They will just celebrate it, enjoy it, and tomorrow they will continue claiming that UPND is not changing our lives. No.
Okay.
Let's not promote laziness.
Okay. Maybe Mr. Simukoko, before I ask you a question, would you like to respond, or I get to the question?
I can respond either way.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So according to the raised issues, that the UPNG government never promised people meal in their homes. We are going to agree. But one thing that is for sure is that they promised people to say a 25 kg bag of meal will be bought at 50 kwacha. Apart from that, also we need to know to say, when we come to the CDF, which is 25.7 million, previously we had 1.6 million. For me, Madam Virginia, I'm going to tell to say the 25.7 million is the lowest CDF we have ever had since independence. For one reason. We need to know to say, previously there are people who are going to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Gender to go and get empowerment funds. That was at the central government. Now, that isn't happening there anymore. The president has said, you will not go to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to get your empowerment. You are not going to go to the Ministry of Labor to get your empowerment. However, every empowerment that you are looking for, it's within the 26.7 million. Apart from that, we need to know to say, the construction of the roads which are dilapidated, the construction of classrooms which are not in good structure, is also coming from the same 26.7 million. So obviously, if you are going to cut the money that was spent by the central government when it comes to empowerment, then you also cut or separate the money which was spent by the local government only on CDF, or which they received. We need to know to say, this is the lowest because everything now has been decentralized to the local levels or local authorities. Apart from that, Madam Virginia, we need to know to say, in as much as we are here trying to raise the issues that we are trying to raise, we are here to represent the people of Zambia who are feeling the inch of the increase in the cost of living. I'm going to tell you to say, most of the promises, we are not asking the UPND to give us meal. We are not asking for the UPND to begin giving us money. We are not asking President HH to give us money. We are asking him to deliver what he promised. Indeed, he has said we didn't promise anyone that in 8 months we are going to begin distributing the meal in your homes. But one thing which is for sure is this. They promised that we are sworn at 10. By 14 hours, the kwacha will appreciate. And I believe, Madam Virginia, to say, 8 months. We can't argue about the time. We are talking about 10 hours to 14 hours after being sworn in. So this UPND government is clocking 9 months in government. What kind of policies have they made? What kind of the decisions have they made? We need to know to say the decisions of now affect our future. If you can't take care of what you have now, you won't take care of what you are going to have later on. So let us look at the policies which the UPND has made. Most of which we need to know to say the mining companies have been given tax holidays. The mining companies have been given tax exemptions. The Zambian people have been taxed heavily. The tax that is being received or that has been introduced to the people of Zambia, it's enormous. Look at the civil servants. Look at what is happening. The people who are in civil service are frustrated. The people who are working currently, they have borrowed. Indeed, we can't say that if you failed to buy minimum in the PF government, you can't manage now. The issue is, the bag of minimum previously was bought at 120 kwacha. The people voted in the UPND because the president promised them to say, you are going to begin buying this bag at 50 kwacha. What is the price of minimum today? It is 180 kwacha in several shops which we have in the country. And that is why I'm saying we are not asking for handouts. We are asking for the fulfillment of the promises that we are made, such as the same recent one. So if we see a diversification or we see them diverting from what they promised initially, indeed we are going to make them accountable, and that is the duty of the opposition political party.
All right. Maybe let me come to you, Mr. Malama. I think Mr. Simukoko has mentioned something quite important. That is that today, although rather the holiday was yesterday, but we are still continuing today, was Labor Day, where we commemorated, Labor Day. But then let me get down to you with this question. What are your sentiments over the current labor environment? You spoke about being an entrepreneur. How is the current economic environment, for you currently?
Me, I'm one honest person. Even some 2 weeks ago, I was advocating for the people in the private sector. I was asking the government to look into their plight. I was suggesting that the conditions of service in the private sector should be improved. And also, the minimum wage should be increased because the cost of living has gone up. So meaning, even the minimum wage should be reviewed. So in that regard, I want to be honest enough to make mention that the private sector is not really doing fine. We've got these foreign companies who are mostly abusing our Zambian people because of the bad working conditions. And this, I'm making this appeal to the able leadership of His Excellency Saka in the HRM to look into this issue. It's quite serious. So this is not something that we should debate about. This is something real in our country. I've seen how some foreigners are mistreating our own Zambian people, our own children, our own uncles, our own aunties. So these people must be visited. And my appeal also goes direct to the Minister of Labour that he please look into this. Otherwise, the plight of the private sector is not in good shape.
Do you think that Zambia is in dire need of labor reforms?
Yeah, for real. It needs labor reforms.
Okay. Mr. Simukoko, as a DP, how do you feel about the current labor environment?
I think for the DP, it is wrong to ask them that question. It is very, very wrong to ask them this question because these guys, they were in PF. So they've got that wrong mindset. Up to now, that's why they're still disorganized. There are already 2 camps. So, in fact, this should be the last time we are inviting the DP. Let them put the house in order so that they stop misleading Zambians. when the Zambians are watching, and then they see a member of the DP standing before the camera, they are confused. They don't even know which camp my young brother is coming from. So before he starts speaking about UPND leadership, let him go and advise his president, Dari Kalaba. My boss, can we put our house in order so that even as we criticize UPND, we've got a strong foundation. Now, these guys are standing on sand. Now they want to shake a strong building like Findeco House. And this sand they are standing on, underneath there is water. So we cannot hear anything serious, anything tangible from a group of people who are not organized, from a group of people who cannot manage to run a small organization, because I want to believe that the entire membership of DP is less than 500 people countrywide.
Okay, maybe we'll
So
get back.
why should we be talking about debating with a foundationless organization?
No, maybe we get back to Mr. Simukoko.
Okay, I think
we can.
coming to the issue of stabilization of the political party, we are very much stable, Madam Virginia, and that is why we are even participating in the by-elections which have been held in the country. I believe that there is no any political party whose house is not in order, and then it is participating in by-elections. We participated in the 2 by-elections that we had, and we even came out second at councillorship level in Southern Province. Apart from that, Madam Virginia, for me, I cannot say that stop inviting these people to the media station, because one, that is infringing on the freedom of expression from both the citizens, including the media house. Because it is not my duty and responsibility to begin detecting who should be on media, who should be on camera, and who should not. Coming to the issue of labor, the labor reviews and labor conditions that we have in the country, I would advise the Minister of Labor, Madam Tambatamba, to show or to review the labor conditions that we have in the country. In Japan, they suffer from a common disease they call kaloshi because of the harshness or stress that come along with work. What has Japan done in order to improve its ways of the people who are in the labor force? What it has done, it has created the 24-hour economy by creating 3 shifts. That reduces the stress. That is why having an open economy, which is running for 24 hours, is the way out. Apart from that, what I'm going to advise, in as much as a minimum wage can be looked at, they need to look at the tax threshold, which individual citizens are supposed to pay. I will advise again to say, instead of the government to begin taxing those people who are receiving such amounts by increasing the people are supposed to pay, or the bracket of the people who are introduced or entitled to tax or pay as UN, what I will advise them is that let them maintain the same one, then reduce the tax which they pay. Besides that, Madam Virginia, the labor force in Zambia, we need to know that it is comprised of people who are looking for jobs. The citizens, the youth who are not employed at the moment.
And I mean, earlier on you had spoken about the ongoing recruitment in the health sector.
They are waiting for the IMF, because according to the Minister of Finance, said that the IMF was given us a go-ahead for us to recruit the individuals. Meaning, I think they're waiting for the IMF again to tell them to say they can start coming for interviews and they begin working. I think that is what they are waiting for. So, either way, what I'm trying to say is that in as much as we are coming up with policies as a government or as a country, we need to be putting our people first. We need to be making sure that our people are given what they want and what they need. You can't say that because of free education, fuel has to increase. Yet on the other hand, you are complaining about the debt to say the previous government left the debt. Again, on the other side, you are giving mining companies whose prices have reached the climax point, meaning the prices of copper at the international market has increased. That increment that has been made, Zambia isn't benefiting anything because the government has said you are not going to be paying taxes. As a result of not paying taxes, Zambia is going to lose about 3.6 billion kwacha because the mining companies are not paying the taxes. Now, is the president now telling us to say he can't subsidize fuel, petrol, and diesel by using the same money which those mining companies were supposed to be paying as a result of tax?
Okay.
Apart from that, Madam Virginia, we need to know to say, as a country or as a nation, we need to be looking at the pride of the people of Zambia. We need to be looking at what kind of the things are the Zambian people lacking. Then thereafter, we are going to be going in the right direction and the right plan. However, this current government doesn't have a manifesto which it is following. It doesn't have a plan. The only thing that I am able to see is the 10-point plan, which is not implementable. So I would advise the government once again to go to the drawing board and come up with an economical plan which is going to benefit the people who are in the labor force, both in the private and public sectors. I think that is going to be able to, that is going to be okay for the nation.
Okay, even as we begin to wind up with the show, maybe we shift to the economic sector. Earlier on, you had spoken about the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and we were informed by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, that is Mr. Dr. Stombeko Msokotwane, that by mid this year, we are likely to clinch the deal with the IMF and even speak about specific numbers. This was also spoken by the president himself. As we begin to wind up, do you think that this is the IMF is really a good solution for our economy?
It is my question?
Yes, yes.
Okay. The IMF isn't a solution to our economy because the IMF are in business. The IMF are looking at profit, how much profit they are going to make as a result of what they are dealing with. So they are looking at Zambia and saying, what kind of profit are we going to make as a result of Zambia? The IMF, I said earlier, since its inception, it has never made any developing country to a developed nation. And that is why the people from Tanzania, like the former president and the late president, John Pombe Magufuli, the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, know what IMF is all about. And that is why they don't entertain the IMF. That is why you will never see Rwanda going to IMF and say, we want to borrow money from you. In fact, it has relied on its own solutions, home-based solutions, which has now seen Rwanda making its own phones. It is assembling its own vehicles. What are we making in Zambia? And you are going to come here and ask me a question again to say, in 8 months, can you do that? The issue is, what is the plan? Then when can we do it? Because government isn't run by a business where you say, oh, this is now capital, we leave now the profit there and there. We don't do like that when it comes to governance issues. When it comes to governance issues, the main aim of it all is making sure that your policies are attracting both investor confidence as well as your home or domestic entrepreneurs to enter into entrepreneurship, that is increasing the GDP. When again the investors come in, they are going to bring in foreign reserves, or in short, foreign currencies, which are going to be seen now, the kwacha, to begin stabilizing against foreign currencies. Okay. And that is why I have advised this government time and again to say, look, at times it is important to look at the investor confidence. The president spoke about that when he was in opposition to say, I'm sworn in at 10, at 14 the kwacha you appreciate. Because he knew in his mind to say, immediately I'm voted in, the investors are going to know that the conditions and policies of the nation are going to change. Okay. However, maybe after getting into power,
we are running out of time.
Maybe
let me come to Mr. Malama. Yeah, we're running out of time. Let me come to Mr. Malama. We are in the 9 minutes of our show. The government seems so bent on clinching this particular IMF deal. Are we promised milk and honey once we clinch this deal?
First and foremost, what you have to know is the same IMF, my brother, my sister in Shangombo, they don't even know what it is. Right now, as they are watching us, they're asking themselves, China Mashi IMF. That is why I said in my preamble, I said, bring topics that we hope the people are watching. The people in Shangombo, they've received CDF. How are they going to use it? They've received CDF. How are they going to use it? They don't know. They need proper advice. They need proper guidance. He has talked about graduates who are waiting to be employed. There's no country in this world that has developed by having a huge number of civil servants. The problem in this country, we have graduates like him who are waiting to be civil servants. In a normal society, when a person graduates, he's supposed to be creative enough, innovative enough to come up with something that can create employment for himself and others. Today in this country, 99% of our graduates are renting houses by grade 7. Why? By grade 7 they're hardworking. By grade 7 they know that for me to survive in this world I have to be creative enough. We have graduates who only speak good English and waiting to be a civil servant. When you become a civil servant, you're not adding any value in the private sector. Actually, you are a burden on the treasury. So we shouldn't be proud that this government is going to employ a lot of civil servants. I myself am not even proud because I expect graduates like him coming from DP to be innovative enough and say no to be a civil servant. This is what we want. If you go to all developed countries, the economy is run by the private sector. We need a lot of entrepreneurs in this country for us to develop. This same economy you're talking about, even if IMF gives us $10 billion, it will not change our lives in any way because we've got a group of youths who are waiting to be civil servants. My point is, young people, graduates, let's be entrepreneurs. Let's be creative enough to come up with something that can change our lives. If you can't be an entrepreneur, you can still do something for a living. This is what we want. This is the society that is needed in our country. Not waiting to be a civil servant. Imagine, me, I'm a teacher by profession. Imagine if I join the queue of people who want to be employed as teachers. I'm increasing the number. But I've said, no, I cannot be employed by the government. Why? I'm an entrepreneur. I've even employed others. This is what we want. Can we have graduates who can think outside the box of civil service and be creative enough? But what we have is just a disappointment. They are just there drinking kachasu, speaking good English, and waiting for the government to employ them. While they are complaining pakabunga, nga my brother already are preferring complaining pabunga. Aw, nga pakalabika signature mubungo. Akalabika.
Thank you very much.
Pabunga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malava. This has been the Monday's edition of A Blunt Talk to my guest in the studio. Thank you very much for coming through to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To our viewers, once again, this has been Monday's edition of Blunt Talk. You have been watching it right here on Movie TV, of course. You can come through on our Facebook page, that is Ask Movie TV, where we are streaming live this particular program, and you can send us your questions, your comments, and your contributions. Since today in the studios, we have been discussing the topic current state of political atmosphere, and of course we have touched on a few other things as well. You can keep the conversation going once again on our Facebook page. Until next week, it's bye-bye and God bless.
This is Zambia, the home of copper.
I just
This is Zambia, it's the nation. Yeah, yeah. Give us, you give us.